Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Miss T, and that is me. Today, we are having a conversation with Jeffrey Ndove, also known as Dr. Ndove. Yes, Jeffrey is currently a med student doing his rotations in the United States of America. We went to university together and we were in the same circle of friends. All right, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy. Dr. Ndove. Are you Dr. Ndove
Yes,
soon, right? But I think I can still call you that.
not yet. I receive it in the spirit, but not yet.
Show me your scar.
I don't know if you can see it. I forgot to say it in the picture.
Is it this whole line?
Yeah, so
Wow. It's huge.
yeah, because of the complications and stuff. That's
And how do you how
because
do
of
you
the
feel
access.
how do you feel about that? Because usually when somebody has a scar on their body, this like it brings insecurities and stuff.
I'm okay with it. It's not even like doesn't bother me that much. I just like I don't know. I just accepted it early.
Yeah.
I actually wanted the surgery early, so like the stuff that came afterwards wasn't like that bad. So I'd already mentally prepared myself for everything. So
How is it like as a doctor to go through um all of that? Like, do you feel like do you have like levels of expectations like this doctor's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, this is what he should be doing, like?
um well during the process before I had the surgery, the things that maybe I was like, no, they should have done this. But um sometimes you just have to respect the person. Since like I'm still a student and they're like a qualified doctor, sometimes you just have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like
Hmm.
you don't want to come out across as being like know-it-all or something like that
Yeah.
because they've been in the field for like years.
Yeah.
So um yeah, being on the other side, at least like they were open to suggestions.
Mm.
Like the second time when I went to see my ENT when it was really bad, I was like, no, I really need surgery. But he was more of the conservative approach. He didn't want to go straight to surgery. But I guess the way I was feeling, I was like, no, I think like this needs surgery and nothing else. And eventually I was able to convince him and then he referred me to a surgeon.
Yeah.
And at least like they can take your input.
Yeah.
And I think like that has to be like applied to everyone and not just like a person who's like in the medical field. Like if you're suffering from something, you have to know, you have to do research. I know like it comes across to doctors like, no, you're trying to do our job and stuff, but sometimes it's good to really know what's happening with your body or your body and at least like ask a lot of questions. It's
Mm.
better to like ask even like silly questions and
Mhm.
then they actually like try to like um, explain them to you rather than just go there and just accept everything that they're saying. And
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Because remember when I had to, get the fibroid removed, I also, and you were like translating all these medical terms for me because I had no idea what was going on. So I went to my doctor and I wanted to get it removed. And he said, no, don't worry about it. I was like, yeah, it's growing. I'm definitely gonna worry about it. And then you and I had that conversation where you were like, ask a lot of questions, and you were asking me questions so I could ask the doctor because I was just like, I'm just gonna lie there and let them remove it. But like there were certain things that I needed to know. And so yeah, I totally agree with you there when you say you should do research and understand how this is affecting you because it is your body, right? Like it is your
yeah,
body is a temple, you're responsible for it.
definitely, definitely, it is
Yeah.
your body. Sometimes like things happen, they might misdiagnose you. So um, that can be that can lead to something that's bad. So it's better to actually like do so much research and like ask so many questions so that like they can like answer you like, and it makes you understand like what's happening with you. And um, I think like it's even better because it will sort of like clear up your mind, because like when you do something when you really don't know what's happening,
Mm.
it will just like you just say like, oh, okay, I've just done this, when maybe people around you ask like, okay, what was happening and stuff, and you cannot
You don't
explain.
know.
Like it doesn't give you like that sense of like freedom in your mind,
Yeah.
because you really don't know what was happening. So at least like knowing exactly what's happening with your body, like that's the way to go.
And I know you're a very big fan of a second opinion.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Like during the whole process, I think I um not second opinion per se for me, but at least I was like talking to like three different doctors, because one doctor was for like my imagings and stuff, like ultrasound and all. And I will also I'll ask them the questions about like what was happening with my thyroid and stuff.
Mhm.
And they'll give me their opinion, like, oh, I think maybe you should do this and that. And then they'll say, no, but I'm just like, a radiologist, but you will have to talk to your ENT doctor to
Mhm.
determine what's happened. And then afterwards, after I talked to the ENT doctor, I then spoke to the surgeon. So like that's like three different doctors that I was talking to
Mhm.
about the
Mhm.
same problem. So
Yeah.
at least like they gave me like their different opinions, and one thing that was sort of like a commonality between them. That's what something that I was like, oh, okay, so I guess maybe the main problem is this,
Yeah.
because all three are talking about like this problem. They might be looking at like um, different angles of
Mm.
the problem, but at least there was a commonality that I could actually like see, and that will give me like at least like I'll have like a clearer view of like what is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know I've thanked you for this, but like when I when I had to get my first surgery, it was so scary. And being in the hospital all by myself now, you see, like, and also being in a foreign land and everything, I was just like, I know I need to get this done, but I don't understand half of what they're telling me. Like, I don't think my doctor did justice on like the type of surgery, and I don't even remember the terms. And so I just like want to say thank you for, dumbing it down for me and helping me
You're
understand,
welcome.
because I felt at rest, when all of that was happening. So I don't know if I told you this. I was ready to do this whole thing by myself. And when I arrived at the hospital, the nurses kept asking me, "Is someone coming? Is someone coming?" I said, "No, I'm here to get this, out of my womb and, then go back to work." And every nurse that came to check up on me, they would ask me the same thing: is somebody coming? And I was like, no, I'm fine doing this all by myself. Eventually, it got to a point where I like had to call up my friend and say, hey, listen, after work, can you just like show up so that so that these
I
nurses
see.
can stop worrying?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah.
So like with surgeries, yeah, you do need to have like that support,
Yeah,
because anything can go wrong. Cause even if like it's a simple procedure, anything can go wrong.
right.
So at least like having someone there is always good. And the thing when you're talking about like dumbing things down, I think like that's a problem that we have in the medical field, because sometimes
Mm.
you're so focused in like in the medical terms, you just say it out, but like you have to sort of like understand that the people that you're trying to explain to are not in the medical field, so they'll have to explain it. That if the doctor is satisfied, that's it. Like okay, like okay, you understand the procedure, so like
Now
we're
you're
good to
ready.
go.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But like if you're just told and you really don't know what's happening, and then they just do the procedure, it won't really do justice to like people.
Yeah. And another thing that I'm not a big fan of is, the whole thing of being bombarded with medication. And I remember, so I came from that big hike, right? And so my chest was aching and I was at the hospital. I had to do a COVID test. And I was like, okay, while I'm still waiting, let me just go check what's going on with my chest. So I went and they said, no, everything's fine. Do you want symptomatic meds? I was like, no. If you're telling me that I'm fine, it's gonna wear off. Why are you giving me medication? So, and I don't know if, do doctors feel guilty that, for example, I would go to a doctor and they say, you're okay, because I like checking if everything is still fine. So I would go and they say, no, you're okay, don't worry about it, but we can give you a prescription. Do you guys feel guilty for having a patient come in and leave without you giving them anything? Like, what's up with that?
I don't think it's guilt per se, but it's since like you had symptoms, they were like, okay, maybe you wanted to be relieved quickly.
Mhm.
So they'll be like, okay, let's give you something that will be able to relieve your symptoms quickly. And you have the right to accept or, you know, refuse the medication if you're like in the right frame of mind.
Mhm.
So it's just like trying to make you better, but like I know, like I understand, like that the point of like medications and stuff, but like every person who's in the right frame of mind has the right to accept or refuse medication.
Mhm.
So it's not like you feel guilty, like, oh no, I have to give this patient medication, but it's just like trying to relieve your symptoms, like as you said, like you're symptomatic, felt like you're not really 100%. So I guess like they were trying to give you medication to just, you know, relieve those symptoms that you're feeling.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just like I'm gonna take meds when it's really necessary, but
Yeah,
I don't want to be
that's fine.
popping pills every day type of thing because of the
Yeah,
side
that's okay.
effects. Yeah, yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm also like not for like popping it every time.
Mm. Yeah,
Only when like when it's necessary, when you really need them, when you need like certain supplements, when you need certain medication. That's when I'm like, okay, yeah, go ahead, take medication. But if it's something that can just go by itself within a matter of hours or something like that, that's really not bothering you. Then I
yeah.
don't feel like you need them because eventually sometimes you get like resistant to those medications.
Mm.
That's why some people then will need higher doses and all that. So that's a problem. But like if you really don't need them, I don't think like you have to take medication.
Yeah, same.
That's like for like light stuff.
I feel so smart being like on the same mindset as like, a doctor to be. I'm like, okay, at least I know something in life.
But some people are for men. Some people really
I
like
understand.
taking it. So like yeah, so it's just different for each person. How is it um, adapting to like a foreign country, especially in the east? Because like most of Africa is sort of like leaning towards the western side of the world.
Mhm.
So like going to the east, how was it? How was that culture shock?
My third day here, we had gone to a place called Johan, and I was standing there. My friend was busy taking selfies, so I was just standing, and I just like caught this grandma's eye, and she called the lady that was standing next to her. She whispered something to her, and then they turned and they looked at me and they started giggling. It's been interesting that I would receive criticism and discrimination because of my skin color, but also like, get people intrigued because of that and get people to just fall in love with you because of that. With the food, it took a while for me to get used to the food here. But you have also traveled a lot. You went to
Yeah,
South America, you went to two countries in South America, and now you're in the States. Well, South Africa first because you're from Zim, and then South America, and then North
Guyana,
America.
Curacao, in
Yeah,
the states. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. I guess like it's something that I didn't think that I'll enjoy,
Mhm.
but I found myself like I actually enjoy traveling, especially like I don't know why. Maybe it's just like just seeing the different countries, like just understanding the different cultures. It's something that's like uh, really nice. I guess I didn't have like a massive culture shock. Um, maybe and like most of the countries, like especially in South America, Curacao and some of them like they speak English, so it wasn't that much of like a language barrier.
Yeah, forgot to
But
mention that.
yeah, yeah, but like it was fun. I enjoyed it. I look forward to actually traveling. That's
Yeah.
something that I'm looking forward to. Like, eventually, when things are a bit like settled, and yeah, traveling.
Yeah, I learned Chinese and it was fun. I really had fun. I was driven and I had like a really strong support system. My friends were helping me with my Chinese homework, proofreading, and just basically being patient with me and correcting my grammar and letting me practice. So now I'm like, hey, I know a new language, so I'm happy about that. And I think in the future I'm gonna continue to learn Chinese. I enjoy writing more than speaking and listening, because listening is very hard for me. It gives me an instant headache. When somebody uses terms I don't know, then I'm just like, oh, give me a second to process that. And I will say this, I taught kindergarten when I first arrived in Taiwan, and I like had a nice relationship with my students, and so I let them teach me a few phrases. Kids are so impatient. They were so impatient with me. They're like, no, you don't say it. I still struggle with the tones. You don't say it this way. And then eventually they just give up with me. They're like, yeah, no, sorry. We're just going to go play now because we don't have time for you. I'm like, this is not fair. Like, when you don't get something, I sit with you until you get it. Like, why are we not reciprocating this love and patience and, educational moment? I
Yeah,
I have I know a few people that wanted to be med students. Is that what you guys call yourselves?
yeah, you can say that.
Yeah. And they didn't, they didn't make it. What what would you, because I know you knew from a very young age that you were going to be a doctor. Actually, I think that's the only thing you've ever wanted to be, right? And so you pushed barriers until, I mean, you had to go through South Africa, you had to go through Guyana, is it Guyana,
Yeah, okay.
and Curacao, and now you're in the States because you're just trying to pursue this. What advice would you give to people who know that this is where they have to be and this is where they want to be, but they don't have the opportunity?
One thing is like there's so many routes to actually get into medicine. I wish I knew them earlier.
Mm.
So that's the thing. Like um, when you're not exposed to like knowing the different routes that you can actually get into medicine through, then maybe when you try one option and it doesn't work, then you're like, okay,
Mm.
that's it for me. So for me, when I was trying to get into medicine straight from high school, I wasn't able to get into medicine. Then that's when I came to South Africa, did my Bachelor of Science degree, then honors, and then afterwards, then I found like, okay, there's another route you can actually go through the Caribbean, which is
Mm.
actually much more easier to get in to even compared to South Africa. The Caribbean is way easier to actually get in
I don't know if you
medicine
should be
through.
announcing that. Are you allowed to?
I don't know. I don't know. But like it's much easier route to go into. And like if you're really passionate about it, it's something that you enjoy because you're experiencing a different culture, a different country. Because I enjoyed it, like especially when I was in Curacao, like you're getting out of your school day, there's a beach right there. So like
Island
it's
life.
something that they're like, okay, I'm on an island. It's something that like was really nice. So advice I'll give them is like just don't give up. Just find different routes, different ways to actually, you know, pursue your passion. Because I know doing something that like you're really passionate about, it, like it really like has this fulfilling feeling. Like it's really nice and it's enjoyable knowing like, okay, this is something that I've always wanted to do, no matter how long it took.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm still really enjoying it. It's not something that I'm like looking back and like, maybe I should have taken this route or I
Mm.
should have done something different. I still feel like that fire in me that like, okay, this is something that
Passion.
I was meant to do. I'm passionate about this. So I'll just tell them like, don't give up and just find something, like even if it's something that's close to your passion, it's still fulfilling
Mm.
because you might feel like, okay, yeah, medicine for me, but like since I was interested like in the medical field, science stuff, I was like, okay, let me take this route. Like let me do the bachelor of science. It actually like um helped me stay in that zone of like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
something around
Mm.
this,
Mm.
something around medicine and stuff. Like,
Mm.
and even when I was doing pharmacology, um, it's also something that I was like, okay, um, I really enjoy this, and um, I can actually like learn from this and then apply it, like when I'll be doing medicine.
That is wow. That is so powerful for me because sorry, that just gave me chills. Like stay as close as you can until you get there. Like you don't have to
Mm.
branch off and start doing other. Wow, thank you for saying that. I'm gonna remember that next time I'm trying to, achieve something in my life and it's difficult to get there.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be doing something that's like so far away. Like at least like if I'm doing something that close, that kept me motivated. That
Mm.
didn't make me lose sight of like, what I want to pursue.
And it didn't go to waste because you had to apply it in the medical
Exactly.
field now, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so here's a question. I really like to know this because I think sometimes there's things that can go unsaid. What is the one thing that you wish I knew about you when we were still in university doing undergrad? Okay, well, even like you did postgrad, I didn't. I had to go hustle.
I think like um I won't say like, okay, this is one thing that you should have known about me, but I guess like looking from the time frame from when we were in university together up until now, um, I feel like I have changed as a person. Like different experiences have changed me.
Mm.
The world experiencing like different cultures have changed me. The world, the way I see it now, has changed me. Like everything that I went through during that period, I feel like it has changed me as a person. And um, I know you've always said like, no, you're just too mature for your age and stuff like that, you know. But like, I feel like that maturity has actually increased, but in a good way,
Whoa,
not in a
guru.
bad way, not in a bad way, because I feel like you should learn from like your experiences, and that should actually make you grow as an individual. Like if you stay stagnant, if you stay like at the same level as a person, whether it's like emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, if you just stay at the same level with years that have gone by, I feel like it hasn't been like you haven't used your time wisely,
Mm.
you know. So I feel like that growth, it's something that's needed in each and every one of us,
Yeah.
and it's something that I've embraced, and um, I guess I've also learned to sort of like accept when maybe when I fail, accept help when
Because
I need it.
that is something I feel you've struggled with for a very long time. You were not the
Yeah,
kind of friend to say when you needed help or to say when you were struggling. You wouldn't even say it to your own family. You would just suffer in silence.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll just like, try to do it by myself. Like, okay,
yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, I'll just do this by myself until it works out, you know.
Mm, mm,
But like, I've now at the point of like, now you should be able to ask help because you have
mm.
people around you who support you. You have friends, you have family who actually like are there to try to support you.
Right. Mm.
And it's something that I've seen like, okay, it actually even makes it easier for you to just ask for help,
Yeah.
accept help, and um, yeah, I feel like I've sort of grown in that sense.
Mm, mm.
And yeah, that the experiences, the years that passed, have actually like helped me. And yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy like the different changes that have happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, all of us that have known you since varsity kind of knew that eventually you would be a doctor, and there's no way about it. Like, we're all supporting you. We're all just like cheering for you, and you probably hear it all the time. It must get so annoying. It's like, oh,
Nah,
you could do
it's not
it,
annoying.
Jerry.
It's not annoying.
Keep doing it. So I think you were an inspiration to many of us.
Yeah,
Because you
it's
did
not
take you
annoying
did take your studies seriously, unlike some people I know whose names I will not
at all.
mention.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, sometimes I actually look back and I'm like, okay, yeah, I did take it seriously, and I guess like I have a bit of regret. Like, nah, I should have sort of enjoyed more after time. But I think like as like I feel like the first maybe 2 years of first, I was just too serious with my study. I really didn't like take time to
I'm not gonna
enjoy.
disagree with that. Like, I
Yeah,
was
I
there
didn't
to
take.
witness.
I know. I didn't take time to actually enjoy what was happening. Like especially when you see Cape Town, there's so much to do.
Yeah,
And then later on, I'm like, no, you should actually enjoy this. Maybe you won't be able to come back here. So from then on, I think from the third year on, I was now open to like enjoying, like going out and like experiencing the
trying
different
out
stuff.
different things. Yeah,
Exactly. So yeah, that you see, like with that time, even when I was in university, there was that growth. Like, no, you just don't have to be like study, study, study,
yeah.
study. Yeah, there's so much to life than that.
I liked our friendship with Shelly and everything, and I feel like I personally needed you guys in my life. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here because I was so.
Actually, spoke to her like a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I'll catch up with her soon. I
Yeah.
was so I was bubbly, I was out there, and I was crazy, and I wasn't as grounded. So when I became friends with you and Shelly, you guys were so disciplined. Like, I I was like, what? Like, how can you be so? I had never met somebody like, that was as disciplined as you and Shelly were. And so that helped me in my studies. Like, I was telling somebody that the people that you hang around with, like, they do shape who you become. And I think that I got through university because I was particularly friends with you and Michelle. And you guys had come from Zim, so your parents spent a lot of money for you to be there. So you knew why you were there. And you were, I think, um, Shelly's a year or 2 years older than me. And so she was more mature. And at the same time, I would, I'm going to give myself the crown and say, because of me, you guys, you got out of your comfort zones. Like, you had to initially try to accommodate me because I forced myself into your lives. I was like, I'm going to be friends with you by fire, by force. I'm
That's
gonna
fine.
get
We
Michelle to
appreciate
come
it.
and tell this story of how I forced her to be my friend. And so, because you guys were friends with me, then you learned to be a little bit more outgoing, I would say.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
true.
and I know it's not easy being my friend because I'm like, I constantly change. So it's like, okay, what is Palisa up to now? what is she doing now? And then you guys had to constantly like adjust your mindsets and accommodate me all the time. So there was that nice balance, and I liked it. Yeah, I tell people that I think I passed university because particularly friends with you guys.
You're welcome.
I wasn't saying thank you. No, no. You should wait, no. You should be saying thank you to me because your your adventures, your sense of adventure, you got that. You got that from me.
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you.
You guess so? I am demanding
Yeah.
my
I say thank
gratitude.
you. I say thank you. I say thank
It's
you.
fine. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's fine.
Yeah. And
Okay.
how has this you author stuff has been going? Like you're a writer now, you published a book. How's that going? And you
That
didn't
is,
tell me what kind of friend are you?
I'm a very good friend, full of surprises. That's
Wow.
how it should be. um, I'm just gonna throw it out there and and let people know that you read all my junk, basically. I
Oh, so you throw junk at me and then the good stuff you take for yourself, right? You
yes,
keep for
yes,
yourself.
yes.
Wow.
Payback for being all stubborn and stuff in university. And you read my junk, and like, I cannot stop bragging about the friends that I had from varsity because you guys have been very, very supportive. Like Tandi, I think of Tandile and I'm like, she's always been there with all the different projects that I've been doing. Who have also been there. Shelley and I have lost touch, but she has also been there, just basically supporting me and encouraging me and stuff like that. So you read my junk, and I will say this: if you were not there to say, like, okay, fine, this is, you did not say it was junk, but you would read it and say, oh, this part is nice, and I'm like, okay, fine. I get excited and I keep writing, and then I get like really insecure because I don't think my English is that good. And so, it's nice to have a friend to say, no, keep going. Because you would get random emails like, that's it, I'm done. This is terrible, but here, read it. And then you read it and you're like, no, it's not so bad. You could do this and this and that. So I just want to say thank you for that. Like, that has gone a long way. So this book, that there's a book that I'm working on now, the Ampara. This children's book, that was like a 5 minute thing for me. I was sitting down, I was like, oh, hey. And I wrote, and I sent it to my illustrator. He was like, oh, yeah, that's cute. Let's do it. And we did it. And then one thing led to another. And then it happened. I forgot to make an announcement until the books were out. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's been a wonderful project for me because, first of all, to be I had to describe the setting to my illustrator, right? And I think he nailed it. And I had to describe the characters and stuff like that, how I wanted them to be. So to be a Black woman that puts a Black character and a South African village in a book, oh, I'm like, wow, I will clap for myself. But then more than anything, and this, like, I have big love for my students, and I've always wanted to make my dad proud. So my dad took a photo with my book, and I think that will stay with me for a long time. My students are helping me with the book, distributing, giving me ideas, and I'm listening. Like, I'm listening. I love listening to them. They wanted a book launch, and I'm just like, no. But then I might end up doing a book launch because I want them to know that I value their ideas and everything.
Yeah, you should.
So
You should.
yeah, yeah, and also I think for you to see what I've become, that means a lot to me because I think there were points in university where you guys were probably like, this girl is gonna end up homeless, and
No, no, and no. The thing is, like, you were always a hustler, so that was fine. Like, you're always able to be doing something. Like, even when you're in varsity, you are just working, supporting your family. It shows like the character that you are. It's not like you're someone that's gonna be like stranded, homeless, or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I argue like you fight something. That's why I always like no, do something that you're passionate about. Like if you do that, then you really have that fulfilling feeling, and that yeah, break barriers and stuff.
Jeffrey, I'm gonna talk about this now. Like, so Tandil and I did computer science together, right? And remember, I was probably gonna be like a computer scientist, and I sucked at it. And I just, like, I sucked at it. I had like, the only reason I passed computer science is because I was in groups with people that knew what they were doing. And remember, there was a phase when I was going for interviews and I would come back
Oh
from
yeah,
those interviews discouraged, and I was just like, I did not enjoy it. And I would get a second interview because of the projects that we worked on in school, which I had no to do with. My group members did, and I did not like it. But you, when the opportunity to be a teacher came, um, what's the right way to say this? Came around. Yeah? Okay.
yeah,
If I did not have supportive friends, I don't think I would have done it, because I remember I had this conversation with you and you were just like, basically, there's no point chasing money. You do what you're passionate about. And so I think I found that, because you remember my family was not really for that idea of me becoming a teacher, because they were so worried that I wouldn't make enough money to sustain myself and I wouldn't come off as successful. But then, you guys were there and you said, no, if this is something that you're passionate about, I think you can do it, and then do it. And I'm doing it now. And
yeah.
it's been so amazing. Jeff, I want to talk about your family, because you come from a very strong family of women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so other than your cousin, it's just you're surrounded by women, right?
Yeah.
How is that for you, and how is that like shaped who you've become now?
I think like having that support has always been like something that I've cherished,
Mm,
and like I feel like I guess it has shaped me to like the person I am right now, because um I've never felt as if like it's uncomfortable just being the only guy, having like three sisters, my mom, my grandma, like I'm the only guy basically who's there.
mm,
But it has actually like really like shaped me like into the person I am, because I know like growing up I didn't really feel at first, like when I was younger, I really felt that void, like, oh no, I wish I had a dad and stuff.
mm, mm,
Because sometimes when you hear like kids at school, there's that insecurity. They're like, okay, I'm growing up in a single parent household and stuff like
mm,
that.
mm,
But like when I was growing up, I started actually cherishing it more. Like, okay, like I respect this woman because like she's doing it all by herself. Like,
mm.
and uh, sometimes my mom actually like looks back and she's like, I thought like you're gonna be a problem child since like you're the only guy
Yeah.
and you're the last born,
Mhm,
and like you might have felt like okay, like you deserve to be treated like a king or something
mhm,
like that. But she told me like, nah, I'm actually grateful like the way you turned out. And I'm just like, nah, it's all because of you, the people who are around me. Like you are my sisters. You helped me. Like I can look at any point in my life and I can see what impact each and every like my mom with and each and every of one of my sisters
mm,
has made in my life. And it is something that I've really been grateful for. And I'm like, okay, like when eventually I start a family, yes, like I cherish like having grown up like with my mom, like how much of a strong character she is. But I'm like, I eventually when I have kids, I want to be there for them.
Mhm.
It has taught me to be like the kind of man that I want to be
Mhm.
to my future kids, that is. And it has helped me, like, shape me into like the man that I am
Mhm.
at the moment and the man that I want to